Welcome to the channel. Today I want to tell you about the movie, The Black Demon. Watch out for spoilers. The voiceover tells the legend of a mythical shark of enormous proportions, and it will appear when it is summoned. Two divers prepare to dive. The diver goes down and does the job. When he finishes the job, he sees many fish around him, and then he is grabbed by a shark. A colleague tries to contact him but is unsuccessful, then the shark kills him too. Oil company inspector Paul Sturgis and his family go to a small town in Baja to inspect an oil rig. Audrey's eldest daughter is extremely unhappy about the trip. They get to the town. The town looks much worse than it once was. The hotel is closed, so Paul tries to talk to the locals. The dialogue with the head becomes tense, but the wife speaks Spanish and he decides to help. The head takes the family to a local restaurant. Paul urgently needs to check the oil rig, so he goes there alone and returns soon. Paul arrives at the wharf and is taken to the platform by a guy named Chaco. Paul wonders what happened here. Chaco talks about an awakened demon, but Paul doesn't believe it. Chaco is afraid to sail on, so Paul goes to the platform alone. Ines is alarmed by the place and doesn't understand what is wrong. A man approaches the girls and harasses them, but Ines fights back. The wheels of the car are punched and the men from the bar go after them. They decide to swim to Paul's platform. Paul makes it to the platform with no one on it. Paul looks around and sees a doggy. He is surrounded by people and Paul says why he is here. They hear a boat and Paul sees that it is his family. Something is floating behind the boat and the men try to get the creature's attention on the platform. They make it, but Audrey falls into the water and sees parts of human bodies, pulling her out at the last moment. They do not understand what is happening and see a huge shark eating the floating boat. The man introduces himself as Chato and his colleague Junior. Paul tries to calm Ines down. Chato says the radio is damaged and there is no other way out. The shark tries to destroy the platform, which is in very bad condition. To fix the radio, you have to go underwater and turn on the generator. Chato tells us that it is not just a shark, but the curse of an ancient god. People began to take too much from nature, which angered the god. The shark knows how to compel something into the human mind. Paul doesn't like all this talk about gods. They prepare the capsule for the descent. The guys go down in the water in the capsule and swim out. Chato and Junior make it to where Paul is watching from the surface. Junior starts seeing hallucinations around him and manages to get to the capsule. Chato is attacked by a shark and then grabs the capsule and chews through it. Chato reaches the surface. Paul pulls out Junior's body. Apparently he is dead. Everyone is shocked by what has happened. Junior didn't deserve to die like that. Paul yells at Ines for coming here instead of staying there, but apologizes. They need to think of something to get out. Chato says there is a bomb on the bottom that Paul also saw and they don't have much time left. Paul sees ships in the distance, but they turn out to be hallucinations. Paul will never believe this divine nonsense, which makes Chato very angry. The son thinks they are going to die and need to sacrifice a child to save himself, but the family reassures the boy of the bad thoughts. Paul is given an assignment to find anything that can help get out. Paul has an idea, using a water dump to activate the generator. Ines finds some documents. Tommy goes down to the water to send the statue boat across the water. Ines reads the documents. Paul signed the documents despite the danger. The shark pushes the platform and Tommy falls. Ines swims after the boy. Paul also jumps in after him. The shark almost swims up, but everyone escapes. Ines tells Paul that she saw his signatures in the report. He did it for his family, but Ines says he had a choice and all the people's deaths are because of him. We are an hour away from the explosion. Paul is desperate. He says he did the first test of this platform and it failed. He sent a report with all the problems. They called him in and threatened to fire him, so he has to turn a blind eye to the problems. Now the company is trying to get rid of them by blowing up the platform. Paul gets an idea how to save himself. Chado fixes a radio that doesn't work for long. Tommy finds a leaky raft, but Audrey decides to fix it. Paul tells Chado his plan. He wants to take the bomb and feed it to the shark to blow it up. Chado says he might die, but Paul is willing to sacrifice because it's his fault. Finally, they decide to pray. Paul tells his wife the plan and says goodbye to her. Chado promises to take care of his family. Paul goes underwater and heads for the bomb. He disconnects it and heads for the pipes. Ines and the children and Chado prepare to leave in a boat. Paul cuts off the tubing to create pressure. He swims to the frame to escape the shark. Pac says goodbye to Ines and the children and then lets a shark eat him, and there is an explosion. A rescue boat comes after them and the oil platform is destroyed. This is the end of the film. The Black Demon. Pretty good movie in the Big Shark movie series. Thanks for watching and good luck.